Hi, we're Nia and Marianne from Seren Health Coaching. We are metabolic health coaches who are passionate about good metabolic health for everyone. We also love to chat about all things health and to share as much information as we can with people who want to make changes to their lifestyle but aren't quite sure where to start. We're going to release a new episode every Friday where we talk about a different aspect of health. So do subscribe and let us know what you think. We'd also love to know what you're interested in too. So if there's something that you'd like us to have a chat about, do send us a message and we'll do our best to cover it soon.
Hi,
Hi.
Nia. It must be Friday. And today, near the end of January, I thought what we
Mm.
might talk about is those things called New Year's resolutions and what we think
Mm.
about them. Um, it's a bit, we call it goal setting really, rather than New Year's resolutions. And um, there is a slight nuance difference. But as it's the end of January and the year's already starting to race, let's talk
Mm.
about them. Are we yay or nay for New Year's resolutions? Well, let's discuss.
Mm. Do we feel
Yeah,
strongly about being either or?
no. I think what I've learnt though is we have some evidence for this, is that when you make New Year's resolutions, this is the vision you have of things you want to change. And if you're not careful, the vision isn't actually how you're going to get there. And I suppose what I've learned is it's all about making the small changes that get you to the vision rather than the vision. So you can
Mm.
have the vision forever. I'm still honestly very hooked on a swimming costume in 4-degree water
Mm.
with only a
Yes.
hat on and walking in smiling and all that. So I've got the vision. It's very much
Mm.
there. I'm very excited about it. But the actual doing is proving to be really much harder. If I was looking at that as a New Year's resolution, which I look at every year, you have to start somewhere and
You do.
very small. And that is the only way. So, but what I know now is that I can't just walk into 4-degree water in the
You
middle of
can't just
nowhere.
do it. No, it's like that. There is that
I
slogan, isn't
just
there, for a
can't.
well-known sports company, just to do it. Well, sometimes there's a bit more to it than just do it, especially when it's, I definitely would not be walking into 4-degree C with nothing but a
I
swimming
think I
costume on,
might have a
sorry.
heart attack and die, actually. I mean, they have had people they've had people die. So,
I'm
but
cold enough on land, I'd have hypothermia with one toe.
I know. Why have I got a hot water bottle as we speak? Anyway, that
Mm,
is still my ambition, and I think it's great to have the dreams. I do think you do need that, but what I've
you
also
do.
learned is that for me, particularly around exercise, because that's where I really, really struggled, because I find structured exercise generally incredibly boring, is
Mm,
that I have learned that I can just put in tiny changes, make them incredibly doable, and then
yeah,
surprise myself by still doing them months and months later,
months later.
and now I know exactly how to do it. So what we're talking about is putting the habits in. So the sum of your habits is your lifestyle. That's how it
Mm.
works.
I think for a lot of people, the part that's really good about New Year's resolutions is the reflection part, and I think that's so
Mm.
important. You sit down and you reflect and you really think about where you want to go, but the most important part of thinking about where you want to go is actually thinking about where you are now, and how you're going to get there. And that's
Yeah.
not to say that I want to put you off, but it is more to say that you
Mm.
can't just go from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds.
Expectation of doing the dream is fine as long as you temper that expectation to reality. So the reality for
Mm.
me is I still have a chance of
Oh,
getting fitter
definitely.
and stronger and walking into the water and all of the things I want to do. And I'm so grateful to still have that chance.
It's never too late to do something. You were never
Yeah,
completely unable
exactly.
to do something to improve your health. And even if it's a small thing, small things actually add up to the big things in the long term.
That's what
So
we've learned. Mm.
we don't want you to consider that your goal is overwhelming and then, by all means set yourself a massive goal, but then don't get really depressed about the fact that you're not going to do it tomorrow. nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be a marathon runner, and goes out the door and runs a marathon
Mm.
first time.
Mm.
They all start training, they have a program, there are rest days. It's important to break those goals down, or you'll never get anywhere near
Absolutely.
meeting them.
Tell me about your little musical goal, which I know bubbles along on the
Yeah.
side, and I'm interested in that because it's also part of health, music.
Oh, oh yeah, no, definitely. Music is a massive part of my health and well-being, I think. And without music,
Mm.
I'm a bit lost. So, as you know, Marianne, I am a pianist, and I say that really
Yep.
weirdly because I don't really truly believe I am. I had piano lessons.
You are. You are.
I had piano lessons, and I play.
Yeah.
Um, and I also used to play the violin. And when I was 21, my mum and dad bought me a guitar because I've always wanted to play the guitar. But
Yeah.
when I was at school and I was learning the piano and the violin, it was obviously more important to continue
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
those lessons. So I never had formal guitar lessons. And I was sort of going to teach myself. And of course, at 21, I was deep into my degree and I didn't
Mm.
have a lot of free time. And then I got married and got a job. And before you
Yeah.
know it, you don't,
Two
turns out
children. Yeah.
I had bags of time before I had the kids, but I didn't know I
Yeah.
did.
No, you didn't know you had.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no, nobody ever does. Anyway, last year I decided, no, absolutely, this is something I really want to do, and I've always wanted to
Mm.
play the guitar. I had taught myself a bit, but I wasn't any good. And I got a friend who is a very good guitarist to teach me a little bit, and he did, and that was great. But I really still do want to get better.
Yeah.
And I know I'm never going to be Eric Clapton, sadly.
No. You could
Um,
try. I mean,
I could try, but
yeah.
it's trying to find a way of fitting this into
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
So what I do is I do 10 minutes of practice every day, and I've got
Yeah.
myself a little app
Perfect.
that can help me with a little bit of things.
Yeah.
And it's just for fun, for enjoyment,
Love it. Love
and
it. And I suppose that's where you temper your expectation. You could still have the vision of
mm,
being a famous guitar player.
oh
It has
yeah,
happened to people later in life, everything has happened. So I wouldn't give up
true.
on the vision. But the fact is, you're doing 10 minutes a day. That's fantastic. It's a little bit, a bit like my strength training. And it'll add up. It'll add up. And you'll be a better guitar player by the end of the year than you were at the
Mm,
beginning. And you're having
yes.
fun on the way. But it's also about priorities, isn't it? Because it sort of pops up as a more of a priority in your life. It's a little bit like the health stuff. If you
Mm,
prioritize getting healthy, and often you don't because you're so busy keeping everybody
yeah,
else going, it's incredibly common to not look after yourself. I
it
remember
really
packing
is.
endless lunch boxes and never taking any lunch myself because by then I'd had enough of all preparation for lunch. And
Yeah.
then what happens is you have to go and get a meal deal at some horrible
Oh,
retail
yeah.
outlet,
Yuck.
which is really awful. Anyway, let's not go there. That's another podcast, meal deals. Um, so so what do we think of resolutions? We like them in the sense we love those visions. We think you should have them. But then you've got to think very carefully about the tiny steps because the habits that you start to make, the sum of those habits become the lifestyle and in a way become the
Mm.
vision. So it
I
all
think,
fits.
yeah, it all fits into these tiny steps I put in. So,
Mm,
it's great to have this overarching goal, but you have to put the small steps in,
yeah,
and you also have to
yeah,
make them really easy. But anything that makes it easy, in your
exactly.
in
Yeah,
your scenario, putting out the lunchbox for you so that you would actually pack a lunch for you, even
mm,
though you'd done four already and you were bored to tears.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And they never ate them anyway, but they only told me that years later. But that's another
That's
issue.
another
But
issue. Does anyone
they
actually eat the
didn't.
packed lunch their parents pack?
Apparently, they hated avocado, but on their
Oh,
sandwiches, but they didn't tell me.
how
Great,
much money you could have saved on avocados.
yeah, I could have given them jam, and got on with it. Um, so resolutions, make them, think about them, make the vision, and then think carefully about the steps. Um,
Mm,
the dream
mm,
is one thing. The thing that makes that dream is entirely another. You do have to do
Yeah.
something to get to the dream. Who knew? So it's a little bit tortoise and hare, isn't it? So never give up about not being able to do the big one for
Mm,
whatever reason. And we all need those
mm.
big dreams. I do believe that.
Well, thank you very much, Marianne. I think that's a really nice chat about New Year's resolutions. And if you've
Yeah.
made some and failed, that it doesn't matter. There's always time to relook at those goals, make them a bit smaller, make them a bit easier, and don't negotiate with yourself. Because
Yeah.
actually, when you achieve that, you'll feel such a sense of success that actually you'll just keep going and building.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye
Bye.
for now.